My name is Peter Norwood, and I am a professional educator. I teach at the University of British Columbia, and I teach at Langara College. I've also been heavily involved in the profession, as I'm both a chartered accountant and a certified management accountant, and I have worked in both the CA program and also in the CMA program. I'm also the chair of the CA School of Business at the moment, so I have a bit of background with respect to the legacy programs for both the CMA side and the CA side, and I'm also fairly familiar with the CGA program. My role in developing the CPA designation is that I've been asked and had been asked in the past to sit on the Certification Steering Committee, which was a group that was put together 2 years ago on a national basis to oversee the development of all matters educational within the program. That would include things like the professional education program, the prerequisite program, practical experience, accreditation, and a few other committees that reported through to us. Our work on that committee is just about done, as we are now into the transitional stage and the implementation stage of the professional program and all of the education programs. The way the CPA program was put together essentially was to look at the competencies required from the legacy programs for the CGAs, the CMAs, and the CAs. We started with a clean sheet of paper and said, what do we need? What skills do our students need to have when they graduate from this program? What are the competencies that business needs? And we put together a competency map that really, I think, outlined the needs in both terms of financial accounting, managerial accounting, the various different elective paths, and also the enabling skills that we think our students should have in order to be business advisors and ultimately leaders in finance and accounting. So we have that background where we have lots of very good information to work from and to build a program. We then looked at various accounting models or education models to decide how we should approach passing this learning on to the students, and we've come up with, again, a very unique way of providing that information or disseminating that information to students. The CPA program itself, because of the breadth and the depth required, really does separate itself from other types of programs, mainly because we're targeting the business and community through finance and accounting. Not a broad brush, but very much in depth in a lot of different areas. The appeal, too, is that the students can take various electives so that they're not all going down the same path, but essentially they'll have the same core competencies and will be evaluated to the same level regardless of the paths they choose. So I think we've been able to really create an excellent model for students going forward, targeted at finance and accounting, but being very much providing the business community with strong advisors and potential leaders in the future. The CPA program is targeted at finance and accounting, and we know that finance and accounting are the backbone of any business. The way the modules are set up, Core 1 and Core 2, really force students to have a very good understanding of financial and managerial accounting while integrating some other skills such as assurance and finance into those modules. Students then get an opportunity to choose electives based on their needs and their employer's needs, in terms of they could be in assurance or tax as 2, or they could do performance management and finance. There's choices. They can mix and match on the electives, providing some opportunity for them to explore their own interests and also to take into account what their employer needs in terms of the ability to perform on the job for that employer. So we have really been able to provide a great program in terms of depth and breadth for students in this area. To me, that makes it a stronger program than what you would see in some of the other areas and some other alternatives that students might have. The competencies required in the new program are at a level that I would say exceeds the level of any of the 3 existing programs. We have therefore broadened the scope required for a student in the program, and that probably makes it a little bit more difficult. We have also continued, I think, to demand the students show depth in in their primary areas, in the two electives they choose, and in financial accounting or management accounting, so that, again, we are keeping the rigor of requiring depth. So if the program is more difficult, I think it is because of the breadth of the program, but this program is very doable over a 30-month period. As I said earlier, with the way the technology can support the students going through and the other resources that will be put into the program, I think the students have an excellent chance of success going through the program.